All right, it's the time of the day where we get to talk big hard facts on the show today. It's 99.3 Nigeria Info, and we're going to be talking about Kano State, the Supreme Court judgment, and other matters arising. My guest is, I have one guest in the studio. One is going to join us via telephone in a bit. Hopefully we're able to get him to join us in a bit, with the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kano State, Sanusi Bature, and I also have in the studio Mr. Ladikbot Johnson. Both gentlemen are going to be speaking on this issue. So welcome to the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, still the nation's number one talk news and sports radio 99.3 Nigeria. If I did tell you that the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of the State will be joining us via telephone, I also have in the studio Ladikbot Johnson, who is a chief of NNPP. In fact, I want to give him his flowers. He is the National Auditor and Chairman of the Disciplinary Committee of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Mr. Johnson, it's so good to have you join us. We also are being joined by Mr. Sanusi Bature via telephone. Mr. Bature, Happy New Year and thank you for joining us.
Yes, good afternoon all.
All right, great. Let me start with you as the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor. Now, there's been, I can go ahead and remind you of the very controversial court judgment and the papers that were flying all over the place. You were in the studio with me some time ago talking about, the tribunal and what was expected. Many people are saying that the reason why the judgment went the way it went was because the powers that be were afraid of the unrest that would have happened in Kano State. But what are your thoughts when you got that judgment?
Well, I think it's a judgment that is not a surprise to us because we know what transpired during the elections and we are privy to the information of the manipulation coordinated by the opposition APC in Kano simply to retain the power. Mm-hmm. And we know the Supreme Court, as the apex court in Nigeria, will not tolerate such nonsense. Mm-hmm. And definitely they will do the right thing to ensure that they restore the dignity and image of the judiciary in the country. This is the first time when the nation gang against the injustice of a particular state. Because if you look at the Kano issue, it's not really about Kano, it's not really about NNPP, and it's also not really about the governor, His Excellency Alhaji Abubakar Yusuf. It's about the independence of the judiciary and about sustenance of democracy, because at some point, people are becoming so afraid to even approach the court because of what happened in cases like that of Kano. A typical example is Dino Malai of PDP in Kogi State. He said he's not going to court because of what happened with the Kano case. So I think the judiciary, in particular the Supreme Court, deserve an applause because of doing the right thing. And for us, it's not really a surprise because we believe that for Nigeria to remain a democratically for Nigeria to remain in democracy, and for Nigeria's democracy to survive, we need the intervention of the judiciary, and then a judiciary that has the hope, that is the hope of a common man. So therefore, what the judiciary, what the appeal court, the Supreme Court did, is nothing other than contributing to the sustenance of democracy and then protecting the hard-earned reputation of the judiciary in Nigeria.
I want to push you a bit further. If there was not an outcry, if the Kano people didn't push, and knowing the antecedents of the people of Kano when the people decide that we're going to come up to the streets, if there wasn't that outcry, do you still believe that the Supreme Court would have, as you've said it this few seconds ago, the common man, the hope of the common man? Do you think that things would have gone the way it did on Friday last week?
Well, I think generally, if you record a success, it will be a result of various factors, which the yearning and aspiration and the explanation from the Kano people is a factor to recognize in this process. And apart from that, you understand, one of the things that really supported this crusade is the media campaign that has been created, the national agenda that was set by the media, because the media have seen what transpired at the tribunal, and it has also seen what has happened at the appeal court, the controversial judgment coming out in two different phases. The verbal judgment is talking about something, and the written judgment through the CPC is talking about something. So I think it's a contribution of so many factors, including what the Kano people did. But to your surprise, not only Kano people, I would say Nigerians, because I have seen protests in Port Harcourt, I have seen protests in UK, I have seen protests in India last week. I have seen in the internet protests in India in respect to Kano case, in respect to protecting the independence of the judiciary. And there was protest in Ibadan, of course. There was protest in Niger Republic. You understand? So this Kano case created a national or somehow a global agenda to protecting the independence of the judiciary. And I think the judiciary is right enough to understand the yearnings of the people, to understand the right and the wrong. And the essence of the Supreme Court is to supersede whatever believed to be a wrong outcome from the lower courts. And they just did that. Okay. And we need to appreciate them for nothing other than trying to protect the independence, to protect the image of the judiciary, and also contribute towards sustaining democracy in Nigeria.
Before I come to you, Mr. Johnson, for some of the intrigues of the court, let me again talk politics with you, Sanusi. Your governor, your principal, was seen taunting his predecessor, Ganduje, saying that, well, unfortunately, Tinubu refused to meddle in the Supreme Court verdict. Is this also saying that, well, maybe the president had meddled with the previous appeals that, had gone through the tribunal and to the appeal court? Would that mean that he chose not to meddle in this one?
Well, I think from the information we have, right from the tribunal, Mr. President has no hand, the Vice President has no hand. But the APC stakeholders, both in Kano and at the national level, a lot of them have been using the name and the powers of the President to interfere. What happened, the difference between the two lower courts and the Supreme Court is that Mr. President and the Vice President realized that previous cases, their names were used probably to get something. So therefore, at this time, they made it categorically clear that they are not part of any shady deal. They are not part of any interference to maybe to tamper with the judgment, to tamper with the justice in relation to Kano case. So directly or indirectly, I tell you categorically, Mr. President and the Vice President has no hand in this case.
Okay.
And to prove to my point is that what transpired at the Supreme Court is a clear testimony of their non-involvement at this case from beginning to the end. That is why we have reason to thank them, to appreciate them for allowing the justice to prevail.
Let me come to Ladipo, and I'll come back to you, but I still have some more questions that I want to ask you. Mr. Johnson, you're a lawyer, obviously. You have been here. You and I also went through with a comb to comb through the papers and some of the things that happened, transpired from the tribunal down to the appeal court, and then finally we're here at the Supreme Court. What changed?
Well, as Sanusi has said, I think the Supreme Court decided that it had to correct the decisions of both the lower courts. And in a way, it's all quite simple because there are established precedents for what occurred. At the lower court, the tribunal, it was an issue of removing 165,000 plus votes purportedly because of that some of those ballots were not stamped or signed at the back. Now, that's not the duty of the person who went to vote, neither is it the duty of the any of the parties. It's the duty of the umpire. And when the umpire says that, oh, yes, we didn't sign or stamp those, it was a mistake, it came from the same booklet as others, why do you now remove these votes? That's one. Two, when you removed these votes, when you purportedly went through these ballots, you said you did that in chambers, not in open court, where I could have cross-examined the person trying to tender those documents. Exactly. So it was a simple thing. Now that moved to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal totally ignored that and went to pick on the fact that, oh, they felt that he was not a member, as at the time of the election. Something that the tribunal had said, oh, we have no jurisdiction to hear. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court restated these things, these principles. Membership is an internal
Party.
of the party. It is a father that can tell you that this is my son. It's a simple thing. You understand? And then why do you remove 165,000 votes? We're replacing them back. And that was the end of the case.
So in other words, there was no case.
Well, there was no case. There ought not to have been.
From the onset.
Yes, from the onset. But since there was, and the rule of law must prevail, then unfortunately, we had to go through the a roller coaster ride for 6 months. You know, and we thank God it's ended up where it did. Some people say, oh, you're happy because the decision was in your favor. Of course we're happy. Naturally we're happy because we knew all along, and we kept saying it from the moment the tribunal judgment came in, that this is wrong. This doesn't make sense.
It's interesting for a lot of people. I mean, there was a publication the next day, if I'm not mistaken, that, you know, now that justice has been done, the judiciary again can become the last hope of the common person. It's that Nigerians' faith will be renewed. I know you're a member of the bar, and our judicial system has, you know, been under some sort of query since the last elections, and people have questioned, you know, if there be no corruption in the judiciary and how we're able to even have, you know, upstanding men on the bench and in the bar. What do you have to say about that?
Marianne, the simple thing is this, and I hope Nigerians are listening. Our society has lost the fabric. The moral fabric of society is torn. It is almost in shreds. Now, look at society. Corruption, stealing, cheating, what have you. It's in the primary schools, secondary schools, churches, mosques, everywhere. The judges themselves have wives that go to markets. They have children overseas, they have everything. And I keep telling people, you don't expect that just one part of society will be upright whilst you campaigning are doing wrong things.
But they have a responsibility.
No, everyone has a responsibility.
Well, yes, we do.
You understand? Now,
but there's maybe more than ours. I'm not also holding brief for us.
Hang on. I'm not saying, I'm trying to make you understand. Someone said to me, did you have any fears? Of course I had fears. It's easier going to 1 million people for an election than going to a panel of 3 people. Because you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know the prejudices they have. You don't know who has reached out to them. And so I told people, I said, the court process was even more tense, more difficult than even the election itself. I'm sure if you ask the governor, he'll tell you that. That the election, the campaign was easier than this. Because you can never tell. Something's happened. I'm sure Sanusi would tell you. Some things happened. When the tribunal was meant to deliver judgment, the judges came to Kano about 3 p.m. the day before. All of a sudden in the evening, they disappeared.
It was done by Zoom.
You understand?
do
Then the
remember.
following day, it was done by Zoom.
I do remember.
You understand? So some funny things happened that, you don't say all these things.
But I want to challenge you quickly before I come back to Sanusi. It's interesting when you, because of course you're a man of the cloth and you'd want to try to make excuses for your constituency, but it's like the police officers saying, well, like those two police officers that were sent home, who said, well, we're poorly paid and we're not getting enough money, and hence why we take monies from people on the road. It's not an excuse, because you have a greater responsibility.
There's
maybe
no
much
excuse.
more than the Agbero on the streets.
Hang on. There's no excuse. I'm not justifying it.
Great.
I'm just telling you. I'm looking at it dispassionately now. You understand? And I'm saying that we have a big problem in this country.
Okay.
And it is not just the judiciary. You understand? If the judiciary are there sitting or seated, wanting to do their work, and you have some stupid politicians, you understand, going there to try to influence them negatively, who do you blame? The politicians too are to blame. You understand? So it's the entire society. I keep telling my friends, I say, once you drive up a one-way street, you drive the wrong way, you are part of the problem of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be the person at the central bank.
Absolutely. I have so many questions. My callers are already sending me questions. But let me come back to you, Mr. Bature. Still talking. Yes, let's talk about your boss here. Many people, again, this is speculation. When Mr. President was here for the Christmas celebration, a lot of governors came to pay homage to Mr. President. Most of those governors were ones who had cases in court. Again, I ask you, this Ranka Day of Christmas Day, did it play a role in how the case went, do you think?
Well, first of all, I need to make the record very, very clear. 36 governors of the Federation, including the governor from NNPP and that of Labour Party, the PDP and APC, converged in Lagos to greet Mr. President. Yes, so it's not just those that has cases, because I have seen the governor of Jigawa, even though he's on the APC, and there are a lot of other governors. I think all of them, with the exception of few who are not in the country. So it's a governor's forum visit to the president and has no any relationship directly or indirectly with the court cases of any of the governors. It's just a very annual congregation to greet the president and his family on the Christmas and New Year holiday. That is it.
Okay. Let's talk about moving forward now, because I think the last time you were here, I talked about, what was going on and how it hampered on, delivering governance to the people of Kano. Does it feel like a weight off your shoulder? I have 1 minute before we go on a break. Does it feel like a weight off your shoulder and that of your principal in terms of facing governance, head on?
Yes, of course. His Excellency Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf is a governor that came well prepared because it's an offshoot of the previous Concourse administration. So therefore, we came with a blueprint that we want to deliver. And in the last 7 months, we have achieved a lot in terms of the promises, the campaign promises that were promised to the people of Kano. Empowerment, agriculture, and what have you. So therefore, for us, the victory is just like another endorsement of the mandate to ensure that it's used positively to deliver a dividend of democracy to the good people of Kano State.
Okay. Well, Sanusi Bature is the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kano State. Ladipo Johnson is an NNPP party chieftain. We'll take a quick break and bring you some messages when we come back. The phone lines are open. I know you have questions. I see so many of them. And Mr. Bature, I think you have more questions to answer.
Miriam, I'm promoted to Director General Media and Public.
Perfect. You have to buy a drink for us now. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
You.
All right.
Millions of listeners listeners trust us on Hashback. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Marian Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Lagos, it's a new year and you made it, yes. But you know how they say that the month of January is so long, like 2 months in one. And usually you would just say, oh, we move. But wait, hold on, move where? Is it with Sapa on the move? Lagos, I'm sure you remember that after dirty December comes clear eye January. So please, where do you want to move to without money? How do you want to do it? Well, you don't need to bother your head because I've come with your solution. Yes, oneplay.ng. Lagos, you heard me right. Oneplay.ng. Well, this time around, oneplay.ng has decided to up the stakes. And guess what? You're still playing with 500 naira. The amount on ground now is 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. You heard me right. All you have to do to partake in this is just go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. Yes, that's the website, Lagos. www.oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira, and your name could be the name of the next winner here on Nigeria Info. And if you don't have a smartphone, calm down, not to worry. All you have to do is dial *347 *880 *3#. And if you know that you can't follow the code and you don't like the instructions that are coming after the code, well, you can avoid the stress. All you have to do is go to the website at www.oneplay.ng. There's money to be won on Morning Crossfire. There's also money to be won on WhatsApp Lagos. There's money to be won on Sunny Side, I know. And there's also extra money to be won on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? What is your issue there? Don't complain about Sapa. The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember, dial *347 *880 *3#, *347 *880 *3#, or you just go to the website at www.oneplay.ng and win yourself some of that money. Don't let this opportunity pass you by, Lagos. Like I say, I could have won a lot, but I'm giving this to you. So please make good use of it and thank me later.
This is an infomercial.
Every parent wants to see their child growing up happy and healthy. Introducing Renzo Vitamins for Kids, a secret to your child's daily nutrition and boundless joy. With Renzo Vitamins, your child will have the energy to embrace every moment and unlock their full potential. Give your child a head start in life with Renzo Vitamins for Kids, because a happy child is a healthy child.
Do you want your children to excel in STEM subjects? Enroll them today on Get Bondi Education Technology at www.getbondi.com. With over 1,000 hours of science subjects, 4,000 multiple choice questions, 3 years of revision for competitive exams, Get Bondi Education Technology is the right platform for your children to learn and develop needed skills for future technology. For GSS3 and SS3, Get Bondi is offering daily online live lessons Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and mathematics and coding classes on Saturdays. Give your children the right head start with proficient educationist on Get Bondi. Register them today on www.getbondi.com or call 0814-175-5552.
Who says you can't have it all with OnePlay? I got that defined, but you have just won yourself 20,000 naira. Congratulations. Hello, good morning.
Yes, Melitus. OnePlay don't cost for 2 players because you won 20K.
So now you won yourself 20,000 naira. My name is Well Done. Okay, well done. You want to tell you well done? You won yourself 20,000 naira.
With 500 naira, you can play to win big from 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347 *880 *3#. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Morning Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunny Side. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial *347 *880 *3#. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
So that's how we go to the restaurant too. And it was
Sore throat? It's often caused by bacteria and viruses. It feels like you're having a party in your throat. you need Strepsils. It soothes the pain, plus it fights the germs with 2 germ-killing actives. Dual antibacterial action in one lozenge.
As I was saying, it was amazing.
Bye-bye sore throat. Take Strepsils. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult a doctor.
Connection is very important, especially when it's strong. And you don't realize this until you are cut off. Keep your connection strong at home or on the go with Airtel Home Broadband Internet. Get any of our devices, like the 7500 MiFi or the 10,000 router with instant 30 gigabytes or the 20,000 router with instant 100 gigabytes. Hurry to the nearest Airtel shop or visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine. Are you ready for some morning magic? Tune in and turn it up, Lagos. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, it's time for the ultimate morning delight. Get ready to join Feta and Stretch on the airwaves. We are bringing you the happiest side of radio. Oh, yeah? With talk that is seriously funny, serious conversations, and those that are, well, not quite conversations. It's Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, only on 99.3 Nigeria Info. So get ready, because it's time to find out what's up, Lagos!
I'm here. Let's record.
Wow! I almost didn't recognize you.
Have I changed that much?
Your skin is simply brilliant.
Oh, yes. Idol Lightning Exfoliating Soap. It's my secret to clear, beautiful skin.
You look ready for your music video.
Idol Lightning Exfoliating Soap. Be bold, be beautiful, be Idol. Idol also comes in carrot and papaya variants. Idol is NAFDAC approved.
Collins, your eyes are always sharp and clear despite your prolonged stay on the computer. What's your secret?
My guy, it is Visual Gain, my nutritional eye support. Visual Gain, an eye antioxidant effective in the management and prevention of glaucoma and cataract. A balanced formula for healthy eyes and good vision. A perfect blend of lutein, bilberry fruit extract, zeaxanthin, vitamin A, and zinc. It protects the eyes from harmful UV rays. It prevents and treats dry, red, and irritable eyes. It also maintains image clarity, visual acuity, and reduces eye fatigue. Marketed and distributed by Almond Ethicals Limited, a registered trademark of Gain World. Available in pharmacies near you.
Use Visual Gain today to maintain a healthy eye.
Some customers want to buy, and some people want to sell. Whether or not the two you define, make you list your business. Hurry go, visibility day, ready to take over the world. Make you list your business. Buy good so, sell good so, rental so, sharp sharp oh, oh yeah oh, visibility day, ready to take over the world. Make you list your business.
Visit www.waitingyouneed.com today, because waiting you need.
When you wake up on the wrong side of your bed, you wake up with a bad mood. It can affect your car. Before you know it, when you sleep on the wrong mattress, you'd always wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Sleep good and start your day right with Vitafoam's range of great quality mattresses and furniture. Visit www.vitafoamng.com or any of our authorized distributors nationwide. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome back to Hard Facts.
It's still the big hard facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're broadcasting live from our audio-visual studios right here in Itimian Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. I still have on the phone from Kano, the chief... Well, he's no longer the chief press secretary. He has been upgraded.
Director General.
He's the Director General of Press or Communication. Mr. Bature, give me that, your nomenclature again.
Director General Media and Publicity.
Director General Media and Publicity, Sanusi Bature. Also, I have in the studio Mr. Ladipo Johnson, who is a chieftain of the NNPP. Now, before we went on that break, Mr. Bature, I did tell you that we have questions already waiting for you. Let me go to the questions quickly because we don't have too much time. Someone says, in all honesty, do you think the judiciary's role in Kano would rekindle the hope of the masses? If yes, it's too hard for the judiciary to revisit other states where is it too hard for the judiciary to revisit other states where they wrongly passed verdict on in order to redeem their image as well? Well, that question is for Mr. Johnson.
Well, I think I work for Kano governor and I know Kano, so I don't want to delve into any other state that I don't really have an information. And this discussion is strictly
Kano, for Kano.
So, yes.
Yeah, I'll let Mr. Johnson answer that question later. Someone else here has a question saying, with regards to the Supreme Court judgment, particularly in Kano, my question is, what happens to the other judges from the tribunal and the appeal court who gave contrary judgments earlier? Should they go scot-free? Are these not the same judges that would be promoted to the Supreme Court in the future? They decided to leave the judgment as it is because that's what the federal government wants. In order not to meet with brick and wall by the people of Kano. This is from Simon. I'll let Mr. Johnson answer this one quickly.
Well, I think the judges, that is the system. Unless you can prove that the judge or whatever intentionally or acted mala fide, then a mistake is a mistake, and they will overlook it. But they have, the NJC is there, the Judicial Council, and they have a way that they look at these things and discipline judges and call them to order. And I'm sure that will happen. But what they also said has happened. One of them, I think, has already been promoted to the Supreme Court. So
very interesting. Well, you can join the conversation. Call 0700 993 993 993. We still have Mr. Sanusi Bature and Ladipo Johnson here in the studio. You can ask your questions and comment. For the ladies, call 020 146 57190. Mr. Bature, let me quickly ask you a question before the calls come in. There have been speculations in the media, on social media, that your principal might at some point move to the APC. Can you actually tell us if this is true or not?
Well, I think this is speculation, of course, and it doesn't have any relationship with the tribunal Supreme Court verdict. You know, people have been speculating that there was a negotiation. I want to say it categorically clear here. There was no any agreement with anybody on anything before the Supreme Court judgment. So this is an objective, fair, and just judgment from the Supreme Court based on their understanding and based on their opinion on the Kano case. Nothing other than this. So, we are politicians. We were initially in PDP, move out of PDP to APC, and then come back to PDP, and from PDP to NNPP. So movement in a from one political party to another is determined by the interest of a group. And we have a group called Kwankwasia Political Movement, which is led by the former Kano State Governor and presidential candidate of the NNPP, Senator Dr. Abi Musa Kwankwaso. So at the moment, there is no any plan for any movement to anywhere. But I'm not overruling whatever can happen because things might change. Decisions might change at any time because we are politicians and we decide on whatever we feel like is better for us. But at the moment...
So there might be a possibility in the radar.
NNPP governor, and we're still in NNPP. And you're talking to the national auditor of the same party.
So, but let me come to you, national auditor, because I had Professor Patatomi here on the show yesterday, and all he could talk about was the fact that they were open to starting a Nigeria-centric political party that's totally different from all the political parties that we've had in this country. And that's because this one's going to have an ideology of sorts. And you were one of the people.
We have an ideology, but continue.
No, that was my Christmas laughter. But he's saying that I mean, like the likes of the NNPP, the PDP, the Labour Party, might be in that new party when it's when it emerges. Are you in the know?
Well, just before I came onto this show, I had to call Senator Kwankwaso.
Okay.
Because I was on a program earlier today, and this same question came up.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer in the program was that if you tell me that someone of Professor Patitomi's caliber claims that he has spoken to Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, then I cannot say he hasn't. But what I can say is that officially, at the party level, I'm a member of the National Working Committee, National Executive Committee. There is nothing before us. Now, we've heard about all sorts in the press.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always maintained that because we believe, I said that we have an ideology. If you ask anyone, they'll tell
What
you
is
that
the
the Kwankwasia ideology is...
That's a movement. That's not a political party, is it?
It's a movement, but it has what it stands for.
Which
it is slightly left of center. If you talk to Batukwe, he will tell you about free education. He will tell you about sponsorship of students. He will tell you about the healthcare they're doing. It is something that has continued from Aminu Kano to Kwankwaso, now to Abba Kabir Yusuf. There is an ideology behind it. So I always say that we are open to working with anyone, whether merger, whatever you want to call it. It will depend on the terms, but subject to the fact that the platform, now the platform not being the name, but being what that party will stand for. What will be the party's take on the economy, on education, on healthcare, on Medicare, etc., etc. That will determine, because we believe we have an ideology, and we believe that that is the way forward for Nigerians at this particular time.
If Professor Patitomi and this this Nigeria-centric ideas come calling, are you going to answer?
He's called Senator Kwankwaso already. I just confirmed that to you. Because he said that, and I just had to confirm that. And I did, and he's called him. But it is early days, nothing, there's been no movement, nothing whatsoever.
Okay.
Because, when you knock on our door, you have to knock with some concrete things. You understand? We have to begin to say, okay, what are we talking about? Who are those that we want to lie in bed with? You have to know. You don't go to bed with odd bedfellows. You have to know. And that is the difficulty here. Okay. It's a very, very difficult thing. But I pray that there will be formidable opposition, constructive, not one just blaming or what have you, constructive opposition to the APC at the national level and to all state governments at their levels, so as to ensure that those in government are kept on their toes for the benefit of the average man on the streets.
Perfect.
Very important.
The phone lines are still blinking. So go ahead. Call 0700 993 993 993. I want to take all your calls quickly so we can let Mr. Bature go back to his job. 0700 993 993 993. If you're a lady, call 020 146 57190. You can join the conversation if you're listening to us from outside of the country. We're on Skype, Nigeria Info FM on Skype. We're also live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info. Also live on YouTube. So go ahead, join the conversations and drop your comment. Hello. Apologies. Do call us back. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts. Sorry about that. Do call us back. 0700 993 993 993. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Thank you. Extension of Hard Facts. Action lady. Good evening.
Yes.
Yes. Good evening. You spoke well. My problem is INEC and the police, the security entirely. Because no amount of look at what happened at February 25th now. No amount of opposition you will get. With this one, they bamboozle everybody. So if our vote can count, and INEC is really doing his job, independent as they call them, I don't think we'll have a problem. But with this one that happened, like I said, this and they go scot-free, someone else will do what and will succeed. So please, like our guest there, let them make sure they put them in on that the right thing for us in this country.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're obviously talking about INEC, and INEC is not here. But I don't know if the political parties are in the position to set INEC straight in terms of, setting INEC straight. Someone's asking me what the phone lines for the ladies are. It's 020-146-57190. I'll take it again. 020-146-57190. We're still taking your calls. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon, Marianne.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Jacob.
Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, Marianne, we are judiciary, we are so much happy with judiciary until this Kano and Adamawa State problem. These two states, I think being the judiciary did not do well. The katakata way for happen for Nigeria, only God knows. That's the truth. I'm from Adamawa State.
Okay.
But the honest truth is, what happened in Kano, I was very, very happy with it. Even the same thing that happened in Adamawa State, I was very, very happy with it because, seriously, I think the judiciary is not control these two states. What will have happened? Only God knows. Only God knows. And this INEC of a team, please, they should be giving us educated people, not illiterate people. Because
wow, we have
INEC
professors leading INEC. What do you mean?
Professors of illiterates? That's professors
what are
of
you talking
illiterates.
about?
Professors of illiterate, that's what we have.
Oh, gosh.
That is the truth. Yes, because they sell our minded. They sell our rights.
Okay.
Professors of illiterate, that's what we have.
Okay.
Not professors.
All right, take it easy. All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. He's really angry. I've never heard that one. Professors of illiterates. Wow, we're in trouble. Someone says, I asked a question just before I got to understand one has been promoted. It's very unfortunate. He's talking about the judges.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. So he will still go to the Supreme Court to give the same kind of kangaroo judgment in the future. He says, may he get promoted basically. Maybe he got promoted basically for passing such a poor judgment he gave earlier. Simon here saying it's very unfortunate. Taking more calls quickly. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Mr. Madi from Iduma.
Go ahead.
Yeah, first I want to thank the Supreme Court for what they have done to give the verdict of the masses, what the masses voted for.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to assure you, like the last caller said, Kano is a peculiar state in Nigeria that where will have been a place where the riot will have escalated to the whole nation. So I believe Supreme Court knew, and the ruling party, I know they equally knew what will have been the state of the nation by now if that thing has gone the other way around.
Okay.
The other way around, because the appellate court that wrote on paper and a different decision and verdict a different thing it was not coincidence. It was something they did, but God knows why it all happened. So I want to commend the Supreme Court for that position they took.
All right.
Despite all that has happened. So in future, and as they said, INEC they should allow Nigerians select INEC, not government. No government in power should select INEC for us.
Okay.
Let even the senators let INEC be voted from a pool
by the people.
Let people vote INEC. People.
All right, I have to let you go because of time, so we can take other calls. Thank you very much. Point taken. Hello, welcome to Hard Fact.
Yeah. Good evening, Maria.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Quickly.
My name is Shego. I'm calling from Balaji.
Go ahead.
Now, I think we have a problem, like your guest said. But I'll sum that problem up this way. Chief Obafemi said problems elude solutions because they are not called by their proper name. The problem is that we have terrible values. We all see the truth and we just run away from it. And when we move away from it, we assume that one don't pass. Now, your guest talked about INEC. The Tinubu win in Rivers State, then we just moved on. The Tinubu win in Benue State, then we just moved on. Now, the INEC said they are going to do things on beavers. They changed it along the way. We moved on. So, a society that, look, the Bible says truth exalts a nation. If we dwell on lie, we will never move.
Okay.
Even if, like somebody said, if you will add all the parties and they have a stronger party, you have somebody who is worse than Mahmoud that will come up and do the same thing. So that's the challenge.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for calling. I know that Ladipo, you have some responses, but let me quickly take the call so we can wrap things up. Here, hello.
Hello, good evening, Miriam.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ayo from Ikorodu.
All right, Ayo. That's it, dear.
Yeah, I think in all of this, the culprit here should be the INEC. You understand? Because all the manipulations and everything, it is the INEC that did it. Look at even if you say you want to deduct 165,000 because of negligence of INEC. It is your INEC duty to sign the voters card. Now you are now going to punish the voters. You understand? You say because the card were not signed. Is it the duty of the governor to sign the card or the duty of INEC? See, please, if we are very serious in this country, with what has happened in these last elections, INEC should be what? The appointment of INEC should be reviewed. The president, who is an interested party, who is a member of a particular party, you understand, should not be allowed to appoint an chairman. An chairman should be made accountable for every, lapses that is being observed in every election. This one that the man will just do whatever he does and nothing happens. You understand? He just goes scot-free. He will just go on some and he's going to conduct another elections. You understand? He don't even tell us what has happened.
Okay.
A lot of money was voted for this man, you understand, to conduct elections. And he gave us assurance. At the end, he was telling us the technical glitches. How does he explain that to us? Nobody will hold this man to come and explain this thing to us.
All right.
So please, we don't want professors to. We've been appointing them since 1979, and we've never got any positive result from them. We need different set of people.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ayong, for calling. We appreciate it. Unfortunately, our time is very fast spent, and I want to quickly go over quickly some of the things that need to be done. Finally, Mr. Bature, what is the main or focal point of the Abba Kabir government, and what is he going to be emphasizing on as an important aspect of his governance? Because every government has maybe 5 or 6 or 3-point agenda. What's his?
Well, his first, second, and third agenda is education. Education, and education. That is why we have free education policy at secondary and primary school level. We have 50% discount at the tertiary education level. In Kano today, a university student, state-owned universities, pay less than 10,000 naira per session. Less than 10,000 naira per session. And I remember many Nigerians are aware of the 1,001 foreign scholars who are sponsored to different countries to study master's degrees, indigenous of Kano. Okay. So, and the second agenda for His Excellency is healthcare, which he already embarked on massive renovation of the health facilities across the state, employment of additional number of medical doctors, nurses, and pharmacists, and also free child care and free maternal care.
Lovely.
In Kano State, yes.
Great.
So these are part of the things. And then the next thing is youth empowerment, and then the issue of social inclusion. Only in Kano that during the palliative, a special allocation was given to people living with disabilities, the vulnerable groups, families of bereaved, families of late military, paramilitary.
Because of time, Mr. Bature, I'm so sorry to cut in because we're almost out of time. This is an opportunity to, on air, ask you when you're bringing us to Kano so that we can have a sit down and have an exclusive with Governor Abba Kabir, because I'm ready right now. My bags are packed.
Okay, you're always welcome.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you to you for coming on the show. Sanusi Bature is the DG Media for the government of Kano State. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We know that you've had a busy day today, but thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Miriam.
Always a pleasure. All right, and also thank you so much to Mr. Ladipo Johnson, who's the NNPP chieftain. I know that anytime we call you, you are going to show up. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us. Thank you very much.
All right, Lagos, we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, I'll be saying my goodbye. Stay with us.
It's due you December. That means making statements your way, just like the queens of
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.